So yes, I'll start by greeting everybody who's on the live. Thank you so much for joining in. I look forward to having this conversation with you. Please, share in the comments, share the live, tag somebody who needs to hear this, and share your thoughts with me. Let's have this be a conversation and just go in together. I'm so excited, as much as I am nervous to do this live, and I'm grateful for everyone who came in to join. So the first thing, please don't mind me looking to the side. So I have made some notes just to help keep me on track, because once I start talking, I can go on and on. So it's easier for me to have notes that will just constantly bring me back into where I am and what I'm doing today. And the first thing we're going to get into it is, what is letting go? Let's start there. What is letting go? So letting go is the intentional act of freeing oneself from, sorry, okay, let me stop it. I'm just joking. But can I just read this part? Letting go is an intentional act to free oneself from unpleasant emotions, thoughts, and experiences with people and things. These can be things that were done to you or things that are self-inflicted. And now, by setting oneself free, you give yourself the opportunity to not be part of the story of your pain, like to not be a constant part of it. It's something that happened. It is not being invalidated. But letting go is you saying, I know this happened. I acknowledge this happened. I acknowledge the pain, the hurt, whatever feelings are associated with it. However, I'm choosing intentionally so to free myself from it, because, when we hold on to things that hurt us, they cause anxiety, they cause depression. And so by letting go, you are choosing to set yourself free so that you can actually start experiencing new things, so that you can have new experiences, so that you can meet new people, even a new version of yourself. Because what pain does, what hurt does, it keeps you in that constant space. So even when good things are happening, you struggle to enjoy them because you might be holding on to a thing that maybe good things are not supposed to happen for you, or good things are not supposed to happen to you. So you constantly hold on to that, and by constantly doing that and not letting go, then you deprive yourself of actually enjoying your life. You deprive yourself of a mentally healthy self. You deprive yourself of understanding yourself, of connecting with your emotions. And also, in a way, you deprive yourself of living a fully intentional life, because now you are constantly being held back. There are things you will not do because of what you are holding on to. However, when you let go, you open up your hands to be able to get new things, to be able to receive new things, to be able to hold on into new things. Because as much as there is bad out there, there's also so much good. However, if we are constantly holding on to the bad, then there's no way we're going to receive the good. There won't be any space for any good thing to happen. And letting go, it hinders one from experiencing peace. We all deserve peace. We deserve so much peace in our lives, and by holding on, we actually keep ourselves in a space and in a state of turmoil. Half of the time, some of the people who did us wrong don't even remember that they did us wrong. Some may not even see that what they did to us was actually wrong or it was painful. And by constantly holding on, we deprive ourselves of peace. We deprive ourselves of not having to stress when we have to be around those people. We deprive ourselves of being in a state of peace, that we are not constantly triggered, we are not constantly anxious, we are not constantly frustrated, but that we are in a space of peace and in a state of calm, which is what we deserve. And I really want to believe that when God says we are to, experience peace that surpasses all understanding, is that even with so much going on, even with the hurts that we have experienced, that will make you feel like you do not deserve any peace, the peace that the Lord will give you will actually surpass your understanding, because the understanding is saying, I've been through so much, I don't deserve peace, I don't deserve to have good things, I don't deserve to find love, I don't deserve to, to get the promotion that I deserve, because of the things that we hold on to, and they really, really, in so many different ways, affect our lives. It could be a relationship, but you'll find from that experience your career suffers, your business suffers, your friendship suffers, and future romantic relationships suffer as well, because of the things that we are holding on to, that we need to get to a point of letting go of, because they are not healthy for us. Now, let us quickly just look at Hebrews 11 verse 14 to 15. However, I'm going to be reading verse 15. And it reads as thus: if they had been thinking of the country they have left, they would have had an opportunity to return. Now, this was talking about Abraham and Sarah. They had left Chaldea, which was Abraham's hometown, into the place where, God was moving them into. And had they constantly thought of the place, eventually one way or another they would have gone back. If they kept on holding on to that place, they would have gone back, because from where they were, it wasn't too far to get back to where they needed, or rather where their home was, or where they came back from. And from this specific scripture, what I'm getting is that anything we are constantly thinking about, no matter how good or no matter how bad it is, we actually have the opportunity to experience it. We have the opportunity to attain it. We have the opportunity to get it. We see this kind of experience with so many things, like whatever you constantly focus your thoughts on becomes your reality, because you are giving so much of yourself into that. That is the meditation of your heart. That is the meditation of your mind, and you become so attached to that thing that there's no way of moving away. So if you are constantly in a state of thinking about all these bad things, a bad relationship, a bad friendship, a bad workplace, bad health, you might actually find yourself going back to it, because you are opening that gap, you are opening up that opportunity to return back to it. And I believe that is one of the biggest reasons why we should let go. We don't just let go for peace. We do not just let go for our mental health, our emotional health, for our growth, be it physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. But we also let go so that we do not find ourselves going back. And in this way is that even if in future you come across a similar situation, or a situation that triggers the same emotions and feelings, you will then be able to react to what is happening in the present moment, instead of having every experience that happens in your life to trigger something from the past, and then now you start responding to what is happening from past hurts. You start, you get triggered. So now letting go allows you to free yourself from the triggers, so that anything that you experience is somehow new, and you're able to look at what is happening without the lens of your trauma, without the lens of pain, without the lens of anxiety. Could be it failed relationships, things that you wanted to achieve that you couldn't. It could be, it doesn't even always have to be something traumatic. It could be that there's something that you wanted to do for yourself in this year, but you didn't. And now constantly holding on to that, if you're spending most of your time thinking about, oh my gosh, I wanted to do this, I wanted to do that, you will not be able to celebrate what you actually managed to do. And by constantly thinking about that, you'll be dragging yourself down. You may cause yourself anxiety. You'll find yourself constantly feeling sad. In the process, you might not even be able to celebrate other people in your life. I'm going to give an example with myself. So my learners was expiring in November, and whatever I did to make sure that I get the funds to go for my driving lessons and everything, it just always flopped. I don't know how to explain it, but like it was just not working out for me. And then comes November, and I think I got to a point where I'm like, it's okay. I really wanted to get my license this year, but I guess I'm just gonna have to restart the whole process. It's okay. Now, mind you, before I passed my learners, I had failed it 2 times already. So the 3rd time I finally got it, and now I have to restart the whole process. At first I was frustrated by it. I didn't even pay much attention to the other achievements that I had throughout the year, because my focus was just on this one thing. And I realized that by just focusing on this one thing, I started to feel depressed and sad about it. And anytime it would come into my mind, and I'm like, I really failed myself. I really failed myself. And to tell the truth, it wasn't an easy year in so many ways. So much was happening, and in a way I understood why it even at some point slipped my mind. And then I remembered at a later stage that, oh my gosh, my learners is expiring. But I held on to that, and it was really eating at me. And through that, then it was just causing me frustration. It was causing me anxiety. And I think at some point I realized like, I'm such a failure because I couldn't just do this one thing. I worked so hard for it, and yet I'm the same person that is ruining it for myself. Until I got to a point where I was okay with it, and I was like, you know what, it's okay. Things happened the way that they happened. I'm sure there's a reason as to why they happened this way. It's okay. I'll do it again in year 2024. And now I started feeling excited about it, because I'm like, in 2024, I'm going to be diligent, I'm going to be timely, I'm going to plan my things properly. And that shifted me from a space of anxiety, from a space of speaking ill about myself, from a space of not showing myself any love or any kindness, but to a space of frustration. However, it shifted me from that space to a space of peace and a space of accountability, because I needed to be on my game. I needed to be able to know I worked hard for this, and just to also take accountability on my side, because I could have done this a while back, but I got so busy with so many other things, and I just kept on postponing it until it didn't happen anymore. And it allowed me that accountability, it allowed me that peace, and it served as a lesson to be on par with myself. It served as a lesson that things don't always happen at my time. However, at the time that they need to happen, then everything will happen as it should. And for me, that is what letting go did. Now, as we continue, it is important for us to know that anything or anyone we do not let go of will hold us back. It will hold us back, and we will find, we'll always find plenty of opportunities to go back, whether we see it or we don't. If you're constantly holding on to an ex, one way or another, you find yourself going back. It could be them texting you, it could be you finding yourself missing them and then texting them, and then it becomes a continuous cycle. Because if the person was not good to you or good for you, there's a possibility that they might still not be good for you at that time. But because you're probably holding on to what you wanted the relationship to be, what you hoped the relationship will be, there's a very high possibility that you will then find yourself going back into that space. And that is the thing about not letting go. And another reason why letting go is so important, so that we do not constantly now become the people who are bad for ourselves, because we keep putting ourselves in situations and in spaces that we know are not good for us. Because the first time a person does something to you, more than anything, it's telling you about them than it is about you. However, if you continually subject yourself to that experience, to that treatment, or if you're refusing to let go and everything, then you are now a willing participant, because this person has already showed you what they are capable of. They've showed you that they do not care, and then you just be like, let me forgive. And it's also important that you check the level of situations. There are situations you can talk things through, forgive, and you move on from them. But there are things that are so extreme that if you do not put an end to them, they will continue to happen. And a lot of these things, this could be abuse, be it mentally, physically, emotionally, and or even financially. So it is very, very important that we get to a point of letting go, so that we may be able to receive all the wonderful and good things that God has for us, because He truly does have good things in store for us. And if we keep holding on to anything that is not right for us, then we will miss out on so many blessings, on so many opportunities, and on so many wonderful experiences that we are so much worthy and deserving of. Now, moving on, I think on my post I mentioned a bit about a story of my personal, how do I say this, a very recent personal experience of letting go. So after I'd written the post, I believe, I'm not sure if it was a Wednesday or a Thursday, but that same night I found myself missing a person. I'm just done with that person, because my experience with that particular person wasn't a very great one. And I cut contact, I blocked, I prayed for healing, because it was such an extreme situation, and I knew that if I do not get away, then I might not even make it alive. But God being so good, I'm still here today. I'm kept, and I'm here to share this. And then now I find myself missing this person, and the first thing I did, I went into avoidance. I was just numbing everything down and shutting everything down, because it did not make sense to me. Why would I miss such a person who ill-treated me? And after that roller coaster of just denying the whole thing, pretending that it does not exist, and I just felt that this feeling is just pressing and it's not going away. And I'm like, God, hi, it's me. I'm seriously finding myself missing this person, and I do not want this. For whatever reason, I do not want to feel this way. And in my prayer, I say, God, if there is anything that I'm still keeping inside of me that is causing me to actually miss this person, please reveal it to me, and help me through it and heal me through it, because I do not want to feel this way. I woke up the next morning, and one of the people on my WhatsApp had posted a video on their status. The lady is talking about she's talking about love, friendships, relationships, but she's just talking about love, and how not everyone you love is gonna love you back. And there's a line in what she was saying that hit me so hard. When I heard that line, I just knew that this is the answer that I needed to get. And the line is, their wounds are bigger than their capacity to love you. I was like, whoa, what? Now, the person was a very, very wounded person. They did get to share some of their life experiences and their traumas with me, and it was very bad. It was very dark. And I would always have this thing that maybe if they get better, then this person will actually be able to love me. Like, it's me, Cordelia. I know how to love. I know I'm a great person, but how is this person being like this towards me? The only person that they even say that you're actually one of the people who genuinely care about me, who do not want to use me and everything, but I'm the one who gets ill-treated. And I constantly had this thing that if he had just given himself the chance to love me, he would have been able to. And that is what I was holding on to. I never let go of that idea, Even when I had cut contact, even when I had blocked the person, I just never fully let go of the idea that this person does not have the capacity to love me because of their wounds, and their trauma it's extreme, it is huge. So it was even unfair of me to expect that of them. And after hearing that, I knew what it is that I needed to let go of. I needed to let go of the idea that this person could love me, and they couldn't. I'm sure even if he had tried to, it wasn't gonna happen. There's too much pain, there's too much resistance, because any person that growing up, the people that claimed to love him are the people that caused him the most pain. So for him, love and pain go hand in hand. And he couldn't give me any love, but he could certainly give pain because of the wounds that he was still carrying. And so after getting that line, I just knew that, this is what I needed to let go of in that particular situation. Because any other thing I had understood, I understood that it is not my responsibility to get this person to a point of healing. It is not my responsibility to take what they are projecting and make it mine, because there are times when the experiences were just projections. It had nothing to do with me, but because I was there, then it was just easy to project the pain, easier to project the hurt, easier to project the frustration, because hey, she's here and she can take it, she'll be okay. I think you always used to say that you're such a strong person. I'm sure you can find a way to move through whatever pain I have caused you. I did find that, God helped me through it. It was such an intense process because I had to admit some difficult truths, and I had to look at the part that I played in that whole situation, because at that time I had this, I can help anyone who's going through whatever trauma that they're going through. I just had that because I've already helped so many people. So I just thought this is just going to be one of those things. But it's easier to help people who actually want the help than it is to help people who do not want the help. And he did not want the help, because going into and dealing with your trauma requires you to speak about it, to think about it, to see it, to place yourself into those situations so that you can see them and then detach and remove yourself from them. So it's a whole thing. And so after that line, and then it was like, it was literally, I cried. After that line, I cried, and I said my prayer and I thank God, and I literally kept on repeating to myself that I am letting go of the idea that this person could love me. I'm letting go, and I just said it so much to a point that I believed it, I felt it, and immediately, and it was so immediate that at some point I checked in later on to see that was it that immediate really, or is it still there somewhere, still hiding? And I just felt like I've just been set free. I did not feel this heaviness that I did not even know I was carrying. And I was like, so God must have a weird sense of humor. I was, thinking of doing a live on letting go, and then I get my own experience of letting go. And that is one other thing that really pushed me to do this live, because it was like, God is speaking, child. He is speaking. Do not wait for the next year. Do this the 27th or the 28th, but just show up and do this and have this conversation. And it's so crazy how, for me, it was so instant. There are things that have taken me months to let go of. I think it took me about a year to let go of the pain I was carrying from the suicide attempt that I had in 2018. It took me about 2 years to let go of the pain and the experiences I had between 2012 and 2018, when I was struggling with my mental health because of the many things that I lost during that time. And then this happened, and then God just does it in an instant. It was like, you're even giving me a testimony. You're giving me an opportunity to say that when I'm speaking about letting go, I'm not speaking from a space of research. I am not speaking from a space, of other people's experiences, but I'm literally speaking from my own experience, and something that is so recent, that is undeniable. And I also now wanted to get into this, how to let go. We've spoken about what letting go is, why we should let go, but then how do we do it? The first thing is to know what to let go of. Now, this could be, because you know what it is that you're holding on to. But at times there are things that we are holding on to that we do not even know that we are holding on to. And in those instances, I highly suggest pray about it. Ask God to reveal it to you. If you have people in your life that you trust, you can ask them, is there anything that you know about me that happened in my life that you feel like I'm holding on to, or that is holding me back? And just hear their responses. And also maybe seeing a professional, someone who could help you go through your emotions to understand them, because as you understand your emotions, you actually now are able to pinpoint where certain things are coming from, and then this could help you this could then help you let go, because it is possible for you to be set free. It is possible for you to move from that state of pain, from that state of bondage, into a state of peace, into a space where you actually feel light in your body, in a space where you, even when you think about the experiences, you don't even feel sick in your stomach. You do not experience anxiety. There are things that I used to hold on to that would cause me anxiety. At one point, I thought this one person hates me so much that when I would leave my house, I would avoid certain routes, because I know that, oh my gosh, this person uses these routes a lot. And that was so much anxiety, because I would take a longer route to a place just because there is a possibility that I might even bump into this person. And anytime I'd taken that route, I never even bumped into that person once. And it was only when I decided to let go of the hate that I thought this person had for me, that I could now walk freely without experiencing anxiety. I'd see a similar car and I would freeze, my body would go cold. Because, this is just another way to show how much of what we hold on to disrupts our lives. Because now I'm spending more time to get to a place that I could easily get to, because I'm avoiding a person who probably doesn't even care if I exist at that point or not. But because of what I was holding on to, I was keeping myself bound to them in a way. And so knowing what it is that we need to let go of is the first step, because once you know, then you are able to take the necessary steps into letting go. And everything that we need to let go of is going to be different. There are things where you just need to say that I'm letting go of this. There are things maybe you just need to write it down, pray about it, and then just discard of whatever you've written. There are things that letting go of will require you to see a professional to help you through that process. There are so many things that can be done to let go for different situations. So always keep in mind that letting go is not the same for everything, because different wounds, the wounds are different. They go deep differently. They're extreme differently. So knowing what to let go of is definitely the first step. And then now knowing which route to take with each of the things that you need to let go of. However, I highly suggest getting someone to help you through the process, especially with the much heavier things. It is always better when you have someone to take that journey with you, someone to affirm you, someone to share different tips and information with you, so that as you go through this journey of letting go, it's not as difficult. You have support, you have somebody who's there for you. And we have two scriptures. So one of the things I always say is that God cares about your mental and emotional health, and we're about to explore them right now. That also serve as, answers to how to let go. We're going to be reading Philippians 3, verse 13 to 14. And it says, "Brothers and sisters, I do not consider that I have made it my own yet. But one thing I do, forgetting what lies behind and reaching forward to what lies ahead, I press on toward the goal to win the heavenly prize of the upward call of God in Christ Jesus." And I take this as the minute we start pushing on to what's before us, so we start pushing on forward, we get to experience and receive all that God has for us. This could be a new job, this could be new friendships, this could be a new business. It could be so many things that by holding on to whatever you're holding on to, it is actually keeping you from receiving and attaining those things. Because anything that you get when you're still holding on to pain, one way or the other, you're going to sabotage. Either you're going to sabotage it or you're going to sabotage yourself. If it's something you've always wanted and then you finally get it, you might do so much that you overexert yourself, that you find yourself at some point hating that specific thing. So these are just, some of the things that holding on does to us, and how letting go sets us free, and it gives us an opportunity to have new and wonderful experiences that are there for us to have. And then we're also going to read Philippians 4, verse 8, which reads, "Finally, believers, whatever is true, whatever is honorable and worthy of respect, whatever is right and confirmed by God's word, whatever is pure and wholesome, whatever is lovely and brings peace, whatever is admirable and of good repute, if there is any excellence, if there is anything worthy of praise, think continually on these things. Center your mind on them and implant them in your heart. This I highly suggest that you do. You do this in the good times, you do this in the bad times, but mostly, especially in the good times, so that when the bad time comes, you have imprinted good things into your mind, you have imprinted good things in your heart, that even when something around you is happening, you see it, you acknowledge it, but you do not allow it to consume you. You know, you go through the storm with the knowing that you'll get to the other side, instead of saying, oh my gosh, I'm in a storm, and then you start going, you're running everywhere, and you know that destroys your peace. But you're like, okay, I'm in the storm. What now? How do I get through to the other side? Because now you have these things that you have imprinted in your spirit, that anytime anything bad happens, at some point you won't even have to dig in for them. They will just come. The good thoughts will come. The scriptures would come. The calls that you have kept, anything that you are constantly meditating on that is good, will show up for you. And in those moments, it will help you. It will sustain you as you get more resources, as you get more help that you need to get through those things. You will already have that as your covering. You will have that as your cushion that will soften the blow, that will soften the fall. And we need to have these things for ourselves, because at times, if such things, the only way to get them from other people, when they do not have the capacity, then we're just going to fall apart, because, oh my gosh, there's no one telling me I'm good. There's no one telling me I'm going to get through this. Because any other time you go through something, you never tell yourself that I can make it through this. I don't know how it's going to happen, but I'm going to make it through this. It's always other people telling you. So when you focus on these things, when you build yourself on these things, when you meditate on these things, then there's a higher possibility that in crazy times, in difficult situations, these things will show up for you and they will help you. And I think before I go into the closing, what I will do right now is that if there's any person, if you're struggling to let go of something, you can just, if you're comfortable to, you can write it on the comments, and let's talk about it. I can share what I can to help you through that process, or to help you start that process of letting go of that specific thing. Let me just read through the... Thank you so much, Anastasia. Ooh, I'm glad I obeyed. That is everything. Had it not been for the obedience, I'd probably be beating myself up for this. Hi, Sama. Hi. Yes, that quote, it still hits even now. Their wounds are bigger than their capacity to love you. So yes, the floor is open. I'm taking comments. It could be anything really. As long as you're willing to share it, please do share in the comment section. I would really, really love to hear it. You have someone there? Facebook. Okay. Oh, we finally made it to Facebook. Hello. Okay. You're gonna read it out for me. Oh, okay. That's one. All right. So, let's do this. Let's see how I can be of help. Oh, absolutely, Anastasia. We really, oh my goodness, sorry about that. we need, so Anastasia says we need to understand that forgiveness does not mean reattachment. Absolutely. Absolutely. Forgiving a person for doing something extremely bad to you does not mean you have to allow them back into your life again. And not allowing them into your life does not mean you have not forgiven them. You know, we have to get to a space where we are protective of ourselves. And, you know, this is, oh my goodness, this is a very important thing. So, yes, if you have forgiven a person and you genuinely feel that you do not want to reattach to that person, it's okay. Do it and be okay with it, you know. Do not force yourself to reattach to people just because you have forgiven them, and go back into those situations, because some people choose to not even change. Some people are okay with the kind of people that they are, and no matter how much forgiveness, how much love you give them, if they do not see anything wrong, or even if they do, but they would rather not do anything right, for your safety, for your health, for your peace, gently remove yourself, or even forcefully so, remove yourself from those situations. Set boundaries. I think this is another thing. Boundaries. I think if you have not gotten my ebook, I highly suggest that you get it. There's a part there where I talk about boundaries, understanding boundaries, setting boundaries, the different boundaries that are there, so that you will know who to set these boundaries with and how to do that as well, because it is very important that we know how to do that. Okay, so I see that we do not have any comments, or any person who would love, you know, for me to help them through a situation that they're struggling to let go of. And with that said, I think this is me in closing. You know, thank you to everybody that joined in. It was amazing to have you all here with me. It was amazing to share with you on letting go, and to also share my experiences as well. I think one thing I always pray I never have to do is to share some of my own personal experiences, because I'm always like, oh God, they really want me to get into all of that. However, you know, I'm meant to get into these things, and letting go is the best thing you could do for yourself. You know, it's one of those gifts that you give to yourself. You know, it's you deciding that, hey, I'm getting out of these shackles, I am going free, I want peace, I want joy, and I'm willing, I'm intentional about it. Because you cannot do all of that, you know, so willy-nilly and everything. You have to be intentional, you have to be prepared for it, you have to be ready for it, and during the time. So of course the video will be available once the live is done, and I'll also have it on my YouTube as well. And oh yeah, one other thing, I'll be doing a 10-week program in 2024 that is titled The Renewal of the Mind, that will be exploring the renewal of the mind. We will be going into, you know, unpacking negative thinking, letting go of negative thoughts, and really how to reframe our thoughts. And we'll go into self-speak, and we'll go also into understanding and connecting with our emotions as well. And I'll have more information on that soon on my page, so keep, you know, be on the lookout for that. It's going to be amazing. I'll only be taking a few people for that, because, you know, it's quite a long program, and I want to be able to give each person the attention that they deserve in, you know, the journey of the renewal of the mind. And yes, with that said, thank you everyone for joining in. I truly appreciate you for staying from the beginning until the end. Bye bye also on Facebook. Yes, from glory to glory, amen to that. Thank you, good night.